everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to the second video in the Tokyo Disney Resort tips video series. Yes, this whole video is going to be about shopping and eating. We did a previous video which was about things, transportation and when to go or times to go. I'll put a link to that above if you want to go check this out. Otherwise, let's begin. So let's start off with shopping. So shopping in Tokyo Disney Resort is a little bit different to shopping in some of the other parks, and that's just because of how Japan does a lot of its shopping, or people from Japan do a lot of their shopping when they visit places when they're on vacation. Rather than buying a lot of stuff for themselves when they go away on vacation, they tend to buy souvenirs for their friends and family and colleagues. So it's very common for Japanese people to go away and bring back like boxes of biscuits to give out at work, or to buy lots of little pieces of stationery and you know, give them this out with their friends at school and such. So this carries over into the stores at Tokyo Disney. So when I first went there, I was a little shocked to find in the candy store there wasn't loads of candy for me to eat, like, you know, there whilst I was at the parks, but there was more like these beautiful ornate boxes with lots of biscuits in them for me to give out to my colleagues or my friends and such. So in some ways it's a little disappointing because you want those baked goods to eat yourself, but in other ways you have these completely unique gifts that you never find in any other Disney park, and the boxes really are beautiful. I have a few of them and I still use them now. Now, Tokyo Disney Resort sells a lot of the standard things that you find in other Disney resorts, such as mugs and kitchen items, stationery. Stationery is big in Japan, so their stationery is beautiful. It's really quite cool, and loads of variety. Pillows are really popular there. There's a lot of plushies as well, and they are starting to get pins now. Pins haven't been a big thing in Japan, in Tokyo Disney Resort, for some time. I don't know why, because it seems silly. Japanese people love collecting things, so it seems silly that you wouldn't sell pins there, but pins have now started to become quite popular in Tokyo Disney Resort. So you may have noticed the quick change. That's because I changed into my, where is she gone? There she is. Minnie Mouse sort of poncho-y thing, which I bought from Tokyo Disney Resort in one of the winters. And I wanted to talk a little bit about clothing generally. Tokyo Disney Resort does have some quite interesting pieces of clothing, and they're quite seasonal as well. So this one I did pick up in winter. It's quite cool. It's got a hood as well, and if I put it on, you might be able to see, look, it's got mini ears. Looks a bit silly over my mini ears. But you can buy some quite other interesting things. They've got some cool t-shirts. I think they have some shorts. For the winter season, they also have big long scarves with mittens that you can put in it, and they got hats that built into them as well. There's some pretty interesting things. And blankets. Blankets generally are really big in Tokyo Disney Resort. During the winter months, they'll sell blankets for kids, ones that look like Donald and Daisy Duck and other such things. Also in the Disney store, which is in the Ikspiari area, which I'll talk about in a second, it has the Disney store there has some amazingly unique clothing, and it's quite seasonal, or they have sort of stuff that's on a particular movie throughout the year. So when we were living there, they had stuff for Alice in Wonderland. They had Nightmare Before Christmas line as well, where you could buy this beautiful outfit, which are like little sort of Lolita style skirts, which are, you know, all designed around Nightmare Before Christmas, which was great. So what happens if you buy loads of stuff in Tokyo Disney Resort and you've then got to carry it around with you all the way around the parks? Well, don't worry, because Tokyo Disney Resort is fantastic for providing lockers for you to put items into. Now, Japan generally is really good at providing lockers. You'll see lockers at all of the major train stations, at some of the airports even, and especially at Tokyo Disney Resort. So if you buy a lot of stuff, or you come with a lot of things that you then need to put into a locker, or you know, came with like loads of jumpers or jackets or umbrellas and stuff, and then you realize you don't need them and you're just carrying them around, then putting those items into a locker is actually a really good idea. Now, lockers in Tokyo Disney Resort I think cost somewhere between 300 and 700 yen. If you want to use them, bring with you a whole load of 100 yen coins. If you don't have 100 yen coins, don't worry, there's change machines inside the locker area. The lockers are located either inside of Maihama Station, there's some in Maihama Station, or directly outside of Tokyo Disneyland or Tokyo Disney Sea. They have lockers outside of both of them by the monorail stations. Or if you go inside of Tokyo Disneyland, before going up Main Street, hang a right and go all the way over. There's a coin locker section there by where you pick up the pushchairs. I think it's like way over the other side there. Right, let's talk about food. Now, there is a number of restaurants inside of Tokyo Disney Resort, but my partner's vegetarian, and we actually found for vegetarians it was very, very difficult to eat inside of the parks, inside of Tokyo Disney Sea or Tokyo Disneyland. So if you do have a restrictive diet, don't worry too much. Disney will always accommodate you, and they have done with us previously. We actually did visit the Pan-Galactic Pizza Port inside of Tokyo Disneyland, and they made, my partner Liam, they made him a special pizza. So they made him just a plain margarita pizza, which was fine. But because we were visiting Disney and I always wanted him to have as good a culinary experience as I had, we actually made the choice to leave the parks and go to the sort of downtown Disney Springs area that they have in Tokyo Disney Resort, rather than eat within the park. Another reason why we did this is we found that the American style food was very popular inside of Tokyo Disney, inside of the park, so Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea, but it's always a Japanese take on that American style food. So pizzas are quite interesting because there was, in the pizza places, there was two pizzas that you could get. You could get a chicken pizza or a seafood pizza. Neither are vegetarian, and neither is something that, you know, some people are very used to. So that can be a little bit interesting. Saying that, if you do decide to go from food which is more sort of regional from around that area of the world, then you will have a better experience. This has been my very limited experience. This has been my experience. So I have eaten in the Hungry Bear restaurant, and I had the Japanese curry there, which was amazing. I still dream about that curry. The Chinese quick service restaurant as well, which I think is around the Adventureland area, that is also supposed to be really, really good. So my best advice would be for the food inside of Tokyo Disney Resort is go for the more regional stuff from that kind of East Asian area. You'll get a much better quality of food than if you go for the American style choices. Even though I didn't get to eat there, I can talk about some of the restaurants because I did a lot of research in them previously, and there is some beautifully themed restaurants that I can recommend. So Tokyo Disneyland has a Blue Bayou restaurant, very, very similar to the one in the Disneyland, so the Disneyland Resort in Anaheim in California version of the Blue Bayou restaurant. It's right alongside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, sort of inside the ride. That's supposed to be fantastic. Also, the Queen of Hearts Banquet Hall, which is in Fantasyland, which is completely Alice in Wonderland themed, is also supposed to be really quite good. It does Japanese versions of American dishes, but more established American food. So I think they have a hamburger steak, which is like a hamburger with some kind of sweet barbecue sauce over it. That's really, really good. So so I recommend that one, and the theming inside that restaurant is phenomenal. So if you don't eat there, at least go and check it out because it's really quite cool inside. And finally, for any of you fine diners out there, the restaurant Hokusai, which is the one that's on Main Street, the Japanese restaurant on Main Street, is supposed to be phenomenal. I've never eaten there because of the vegetarian issue, but the food there is supposed to be really good. And if you want a unique Japanese experience, I recommend going there. Also, I know there's some turkey leg fans around the world. I think the turkey leg thing was a thing that originated in America, but the big turkey legs that you could buy, sort of, they look like a massive chicken drumstick. Obviously, as turkeys are bigger than chicken. They look like a massive chicken drumstick, and you get the, you know, just to eat it on, like, with a piece of paper around it. I don't know, like, you get it like this. They used to sell them, I think, in Walt Disney World. I don't think they sell them there at the moment, but I could be wrong about that. But they're very, very popular in Tokyo Disney Resort, and especially in Disneyland. So if you like the turkey leg and you're missing it from the Disney resorts that they used to be sold at, they do sell them in Tokyo Disneyland, so check them out there. So as I said, we tend to leave the park to get our food from the Tokyo Disney Resort's Disney Springs, downtown Disney area, which is actually called Ikspiari. I always say it wrong. I always want to say Ikspiari because of how it's spelled. To me, it reads Ikspiari, but it's supposed to be called Ikspiari, and it's called Ikspiari because it's sort of 3/4 of the, or 2/3 of the word of experience. So just remember experience and cut off the nts, and it's called Ikspiari. I really love Ikspiari. It's almost more of a Disney Springs than a downtown Disney area. It has quite mid-level range stores, a whole bunch of restaurants, and one of the best Disney stores I have ever been to. Just an unbelievable Disney store. It's huge, it has everything, it has unique stuff, it has Star Wars stuff, it has Marvel stuff, it has beautiful stationery, loads of Tsum Tsums, and I saw Tsum Tsums there before I saw them anywhere else in the world. It's really, really great. Now, in my opinion, the best food in the Tokyo Disney Resort area is in Ikspiari, and especially if you have a restrictive diet. There's a pizza restaurant in Ikspiari called Pita 00. I don't know why it's got pizza in it, but anyway, it's called Pita 00, and they do beautiful Napoli-style pizza. If you're vegetarian, that's the best place to eat. If you like ramen, there's a outlet of Ippudo there, so that they do beautiful ramen, so that's another recommendation too. And if you're trying to eat on the cheap, then you can go down into the basement area. They have a bunch load of food courty style restaurants down there, which are great. The fashion is good, the Disney store's good, the food's good, you can't really complain, and it's a beautiful relaxed environment. So that's why I say it's more like Disney Springs than Downtown Disney, because it is much more relaxed, little fountains and sort of hidden alleyways and that kind of thing. It's a beautiful place to hang out. Right, cool. So just like in the last video, I'm going to talk about my favorite unique experiences to do with eating and shopping inside of Tokyo Disney Resort. So I want to put Ikspiari here. Actually, I do find that Ikspiari is quite a unique experience. Haha. In Tokyo Disney Resort, it is very relaxing. I think Disney Springs is close to it, so maybe it's not completely unique, but I don't know if it gets hyped up as much as it deserves. So yeah, Ikspiari is in there. Also, what's in there is the unique reoccurring snack items throughout Disney Sea and Disneyland. So in Disneyland, you'll notice if you've been before that there is a lot of different flavored popcorn dotted all the way around the park. So by the Winnie the Pooh ride, you find honey popcorn, and out inside of Fantasyland, you get chocolate popcorn. I think if you walk via Adventureland, you can find the curry popcorn, and inside of Tomorrowland, there's soy sauce and butter popcorn. Don't get that, it's gross, but it's there anyway if you want it. So Tokyo Disneyland seems to have this weird thing with popcorn. It's you can buy all these different flavors of popcorn all the way around the parks, and you can also buy popcorn buckets. I have seen a few of these elsewhere around the world, but not as much as in Tokyo Disneyland. They have unique popcorn buckets, and they change, and then some of them have been discontinued, and you can never get them anymore. They just don't make them anymore. By the Winnie the Pooh ride, you can get a little Winnie the Pooh sitting on top of a honey pot popcorn bucket, and you can ask them to fill it with popcorn for you and then eat it as you go around the parks. And it's super cute because you see all these little kids going around with their giant popcorn buckets, just opening them every so often, taking a few pieces of popcorn and closing them again. It's really, really cool. You can also buy the popcorn without the popcorn bucket. It's 310 yen for each regular sized popcorn. We were addicted to the honey popcorn, and we used to buy it every single time we'd go and wait for the Winnie the Pooh ride in the queue and just eat it as we were going in there. So it's really, really good. So look for all of the popcorn when you're in Tokyo Disneyland. Also, they always have a seasonal flavor on at that time. I think the best one we ever had was white chocolate, although the orange one that they did at one point was also pretty cool. Tokyo Disney Sea does a similar thing, but with churros. They have lots of different flavored churros dotted throughout the park. I think they do have some popcorn as well, but churros I think are the interesting thing that they do over there. And Liam wanted me to mention the frozen mango. I've not seen it in any other parks, so I don't know if any other parks does the frozen mango, but in Tokyo Disneyland and especially in Disney Sea, you can get frozen mango. They always warn you that it's really, really cold, so don't bite into it, but they do frozen mango inside the parks, and that's great thing to have during the summer months. Cool, so that's it for eating and shopping at Tokyo Disney Resort. Our next video is going to be about rides and parades, so I think that's probably going to be a long one. But for now, I want to say thanks, like this video if you thought it was good, and I'll see you all in the next one. Okay, bye!